You forgot Solo existed. 100%. I did too. Solo is a movie that in principle doesn't actually seem all that bad, but Disney Star Wars decided to execute it extremely poorly. I watched Solo recently the other night because the UK weather at the moment is actually like just most esper. Like, I could not sleep. It is sitting around 30 degrees at night in my house. What do you want me to do? So with very few other options, and having rewatched all of the movies recently except Rogue One, Solo, and the sequels, I chose Solo. It's neither really good, nor is it really, really bad. It is a just forgettable movie that I don't think anyone really ranks too highly on their list. It doesn't rank too high in mine, but not because it's bad, just because it's just incredibly forgettable. The movie obviously follows Han, a much younger Han, as he works his way up as a smuggler and introduces us to Crimson Dawn, Dryden Voss, Kira, Tobias Beckett, and obviously Chewbacca. We also get the GOAT Donald Glover as Lando in this movie. I mean, what else is there to say than that? The movie itself, then, like I mentioned, it's not good and it's not really very bad. What does it do bad? Well, I think its pacing is incredibly just flat. The movie suffers from several different pieces of slow pacing and things that affect the pacing. One of the moments that completely flattens the pacing of the movie and how fast paced it is actually the climax. I think the climax is paced incredibly poorly and it doesn't feel very grand, nor does it feel very epic, nor does it feel like an amazing payoff to a movie where, I mean, there wasn't going to be an amazing payoff for it anyway. But for a movie that has a 2-hour 20 runtime, the payoff for all of that isn't necessarily great. Why is the pacing of the final scene so bad? Well, we have Han with Dryden, with Tobias Beckett, with Kira and Chewie in the yacht, while we have Enfys Nest outside dealing with Dryden's crew. But it's not this part that's poorly paced. I actually quite like this part where Han is in a 2v1 with Kira and Dryden. It's actually the part before where they come back with the coaxium and they decide what to do with it. And it's just such a flat moment where I think they tried to make it this powerful moment where Enfys Nest reveals what Crimson Dawn are really like and what they really want to accomplish. And it falls flat on its face and it really doesn't hit for me. I don't like it. I don't necessarily even like Enfys Nest either. Is she good? No. She's not necessarily bad either. She's just not very good. Enfys Nest appears in the train scene, and then she appears at the end of the movie, and that is it. And her motive is to help the rebellion use coaxium to fight the Empire. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, we could have done so much more interesting things, but they didn't, and that's quite Disney of Star Wars really in this moment in time. And one of the other things I don't particularly like is L3. Yes, I know. I do dislike what L3 does to the pacing of the movie when she gets injected into it. It is a fine addition. They saw the success of K2SO in Rogue One, and they thought, why not? Let's do it again. And I think it fails miserably. That's my personal opinion. I don't dislike the character, like, at all. I just think the interjection of her at the moment in time in the movie is not necessarily needed, but at the same time, it's not horrible. She serves her purpose in the plot, making them guide their way through the Kessel Run come the end of it, but, like, she's just, until then, just flailing along, making jokes, and very sexual ones as well, which is, I don't know, a bit weird for Star Wars, but she's not horrible. I'm just saying I think she's a negative of the movie. It doesn't mean she's at all horrible. It doesn't mean she's even a bad character. Do I enjoy L3 sometimes? Yes. But do I actively think she needs to be in the movie and be cracking jokes as that's her only purpose until she dies? No. But that's my opinion. What about the positives then? I'm going to talk about my favourite positive first. Donald Glover Lando Calrissian. The GOAT. I mean, look, I like Donald Glover as it is, but I like Lando Calrissian even more. And then Donald Glover playing Lando Calrissian, does it get much better than that? Lando Calrissian is top 3 characters in Star Wars for me. I fucking love Lando. And to see Donald Glover bring such a I thought it was a really lively adaptation of Lando. I thought it was a very good adaptation of what a young Lando would have been like, and I personally am all for it. I really liked the performance. And the same with the guy that plays Han, fantastic performance. Kira, fantastic performance. Tobias Beckett, fantastic performance. The acting in this movie, I actually think, is pretty good. I don't really have any bad things to say about the acting. That's a very good part of the movie. I like the set pieces, in particular the train set piece right at the start of the movie when they steal the coaxium with Beckett, his girlfriend, Rio, Han, Chewie, and then Enfys Nest comes and we get the range troopers. The range trooper armor needs to be used more, honestly. I fucking love it. It's so good. It's honestly one of the best armors on a stormtrooper in Star Wars. And it goes without saying, I think the actual action sequences, the moments of intensity in this movie, like on Kessel and then the Kessel run, really feel like they have stakes. They really feel like they have weight on them. And I like that. Except the final scene. I feel like the final scene, you know, just didn't have the same weight on it. It didn't have... Kira's turn was quite predictable. Beckett's turn was also quite predictable. It didn't have the same weight on it by any stretch of the imagination, but I still liked it. And it's still a good action set piece. And I think it looks really good as well. And I think the cinematography of any Star Wars movie is normally good. But in this, I think it's especially good. In the snowy mountain area of this beginning on Kessel, it's really nice. It's a really well shot movie. And then I also actually am going to say I quite like the plot itself. While it isn't too adventurous, if you take Enfys Nest away, I think the plot is quite good. You have a young Han who grew up on Corellia with someone that he loved that he lost. Then his goal is to become a smuggler, to find her and basically free her from that horrible planet, which he does. But then he finds out that the love of his life is working for Crimson Dawn, who he is working for, and then they go on a mission together. But the whole thing is that they need to get the coaxium for Crimson Dawn because they failed to get the coaxium because of Enfys Nest, and that is where Enfys Nest should have been left. I think Enfys Nest should have stolen the coaxium as a random smuggler from that train shipment from Tobias Beckett, Han, Chewie, Rio, Tobias's love interest, and left it at that. That should have been where Enfys Nest finished. She should have had that part in the story to stop them stealing the coaxium, then make Crimson Dawn turn on Han and Beckett like they kind of do, and have Crimson Dawn be the antagonists of the movie. Which unfortunately is not what happens, and if you think that's a terrible idea, then my apologies. It's just my opinion. But I think overall the plot, other than having Nest be the final boss of the movie for some unknown reason and then be a twist hero, you know, I don't know. But the plot's pretty good. And that's Solo. Is there really much more to say than that? I will probably forget that I've seen this movie in a few months' time.